Hello and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we focus on playing full campaigns in less well-known systems. This week, our coalescing quartet of G-Pole people have a dangerous deactivated device on their hands and only the riskiest of leads at hand. Hello and welcome. I'm Adam, your friendly neighborhood game master, and joining me are...
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'll be playing Cato Burke, who sells almost as many books as they stock and solves almost as many problems as they cause.
Hello, I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Callisto Armitage, but that's still officer to you.
I'm Dez, and I'll be playing Burn or Matchstick, and I make no promises about how many problems I solve, but I cause many.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I will be playing Ing. Fun fact about Ing, his programming code is written entirely in Ingdings.
I don't know if that was a fact, but it was very fun.
I think that's a Dask fact.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, Nick, you kind of ended up in the last spot because you joined us after the order was already established. But my God, if you are not making the most of having the stinger position for these intros, they are delicious every time.
It delights
in the
me.
bunch.
Yeah. Well, thank you to everybody for your intros as well as for doing this thing. And so let's do this thing and get right into it with our recap of last time, courtesy of Burn.
Sure. So, we picked up last time, sort of weirdly metatextual to talk about it that way, but whatever. There was a crime basement. The cop was in the crime basement. There was an auction. The cop had won the auction. Then the idiot Terabyte Boys turned the prize on, and it turned out to be some manner of robot android. What's the difference? I very hard to tell in this case because, well, it had lasers and also, knocked one of the aforementioned idiot Terabyte Boys into a wall, and so that was one Terabyte Boy down. One of the others stayed down with a gun that well, who knows where that ended up. The good officer did her best to subdue the robot, and like an idiot, once he got down there, Cato trusted her to not fire at him, but we'll have words about that later. Those of us who did not start off in the basement made our way to the basement. Ing, by some means, got the door open despite the Terabyte Boys, and Cato took off with the podjack, and I obviously followed. The device, when it activated, started reciting at high volume, pitch, both, digits of pi, which is a choice, certainly. Once I was aware of this, I started reciting digits of E, which is the better transcendental number anyway. And Ing was good enough to relay this to the basement as he was already there. Eventually, the robot was subdued, and we left with our prize. And also Cato's arm full of goo that in some circumstances was apparently corrosive, so yeah, choices were made there. We hid out for a bit in Bronwy's warehouse. Yes, that Bronwy, if you are familiar with the modding and design of cyberware. If not, then get good. And we played a couple of hands of cards. She's a very good cheat and stylish about it. And eventually we all went home, or well, first to the frontispiece, which is only home for two of us. I summoned Glorister by activating his alarm so that he would see Cato's text. And as a result of that, we built a Faraday cage around the currently inert remains of the robot. Everyone dispersed. Cato checked in on me before we were all about to go to bed. And then they got a text from someone who seemed to be strongly indicating that they knew way too much about our shit. And suggesting a meet, which absolutely the fuck not. And then I went to sleep.
A fairly thorough accounting. Thank you very much for getting us caught up. And that is more or less where we begin. I didn't really give Cato an opportunity to do any kind of reacting to receiving this message in the small hours of the morning between Friday night and Saturday. It is, I guess, up to you, Cato, if you wish to do anything with that, or it is entirely reasonable for your reaction to be like, not dealing with this right now. So kind of your call.
I think in the moment I say, "Who's this?"
The reply comes back very quickly, and it says, "A friend." Just capital A, period at the end.
I do not respond further to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the point at which tiredness catches up with me and I pass out, still sitting and looking at the Faraday caged person that we have acquired.
The Faraday caged problem.
Yeah, as opposed to the unFaraday caged problems, which are us at large. You especially, yeah. And I'll be talking about this problem with our resident problem in the morning.
Cato, while we're at it, why don't you give me a roll with, I guess it's going to end up being clever. So 2d6 plus 2.
Okay.
Getting right into it this session.
Oh, good God. Snake Eyes. Plus 2 is 4.
You have the best night of sleep that you can have while propped up in a chair in the workshop behind the frontispiece.
Oh, no. The ominously good night of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Normally I would ask like, okay, well, who's the early riser? Who gets up first? But there is in fact an external answer to this. I guess we haven't really discussed what you do for like a rest cycle, but I think it's fair to say that unless you're doing some kind of pretty heavy customization stuff, androids tend to require sort of a rest cycle period for both power and sort of data management that is analogous to, if not identical to, human sleep. But certainly you can be a little bit more flexible. You don't have the biological mandates around sleep that a squishy meat person would. That said, if all other things are equal, then and I suppose if loud noises are likely to rouse Ing from sleep, then Cal and Ing are both going to wake up around 6 a.m. after less than 4 hours of sleep to some very loud sounds of power tools from not too far outside of your building. It only takes a moment to find the source of the noise, which is looking out the window at the view of the indifferent ape on We Club's I'm going ape for gay marriage banner. It is currently being painted over in matte gray by a fairly large crew of in-coveralled workmen and workwomen and work people who are using pressure sprayers and large industrial sanders on it.
Okay. Immediately upon the equivalent of waking, Ing rolls, just below the windowsill and tries to hold up a bit of kind of mirror to see around the corner, seeming kind of panicked by the loud noises.
Not totally unreasonable. You behold the process of this extremely aesthetically, let's call it complicated mural, beginning to be painted over by what I have heard termed the gray ghost.
Ing puts down the mirror, now looks out the window, takes it all in, looks over at Cal.
I am dozing off. Is this still at the same night?
It is. You would have gotten back to your apartment around like 2:30 a.m. It is now 6:30 a.m. on the same Saturday morning.
Oh, okay. I am probably still asleep.
Very well. Yeah. So we haven't discussed the layout of your apartment, but either Ing, there would be no sign of Cal, or you would be able to at a glance and seeing Cal discover they are still asleep, though maybe has like rolled over.
Yeah, the noises are definitely disturbing me. I'm not happy about it, but I'm too stubborn to get up. It's the principle of the thing.
All right. I'm gonna go and check out the state of my droids and see if I've got the materials on hand to make some basic repairs.
Excellent. Clicking over, let's have you roll your robotics specialties. So that is going to be 2d6 plus clever, which is 3, plus robotics, which is 2, so 2d6 plus 5.
That's 15 total.
Okay. Looking at your workbench, looking at your tools and materials, looking at your drones, you come to the conclusion that most people would need to go shopping to repair these 3 drones. But you, a drone technician of your caliber, you are confident you can get these 3 buddies up and running by noon with what you have on hand.
All right. I'd like to do so. It helps me to take my mind off other things.
Yeah. You get into it. You start stripping away the singed outer bits. Fortunately, most of the sort of inner workings did not receive significant heat damage. They've just had connectors broken. There's some soldering that needs to happen. You may have to replace 1 or 2 sort of ROMs on the boards, but all pretty doable, and it does do a really good job of sort of distracting you, including distracting you from the amount of noise that your work is making. So Cal, as if the industrial paint sprayers and sanders outside weren't enough, now you have sort of small scale soldering, sanding, screwdriver, or what are they called? Drills. Thank you. I was coming up with a screw gun, and I was like, that's not what they're called.
I love that though.
It could be a thing.
I have heard people call them screw guns before, jokingly, which is I think where the term came from in my head. But small power tools from within your domicile are now added to the overall hubbub. And this time of year, the mirror panels have not even had the sun rise yet. It is well, you're awake anyway.
I'm not sure if Home Alone exists in this world, but I rise with a string of groans and what is clearly expletives, but non-formed in my sleepiness, and stagger into the kitchen, still stiff, for a cup of coffee.
I guess, Cal, are you the kind of person who like gets the coffee maker ready the night before? Or are you the kind of person who staggers around the kitchen, filling it up and measuring out grounds and stuff while you're half asleep?
It's ready the night before.
Yeah, so you shuffle affrontedly into the kitchenette. This is not a tiny apartment as these things go in this part of town, but it's also not very expansive. And you press the button, and the coffee maker gives a cheerful little bloop as the little ring LED light comes on to indicate activity, and then the comforting hiss of brewing coffee begins to fill the kitchenette.
I watch Ing, but don't say anything until the cup of coffee is done and I've had the opportunity to take a few healing sips of the type of coffee that is so strong you feel it in your molars and kind of have to chew on it.
My mom's coffee. Got it.
Coffee.
And whatever the Hardwired Island equivalent of Folgers is probably what I am enjoying. No cream, no sugar, just black tar.
I feel like there would be hickory in space rather than coffee. But this is only because, like, economic hate game.
There is...
You said hickory. Did you mean chicory?
Yeah, I meant chicory.
I'm tracking. It's like hickory.
They're like wood chips. Times are really tough.
Gotta boil my hickory.
There might be comparatively more chicory coffee in Hardwired Island than in most of the places that the denizens of Grand Cross come from, but there is definitely a wide variety of coffees that are brought to the station. It is as coffee drinking a place as any humanity has ever established.
I support this, obviously.
I did have an interaction as a teenager with one of my mother's coworkers who, upon taking a sip of coffee that my mother had brewed, asked for a fork. Asked me for a fork. I should clarify. So that is approximately, Cal, what you are enjoying as you sort of watch Ing working on his drones.
What comes out of my mouth at first sounds like, okay. Is Banjo good?
Oh, sorry, Cal. Yeah, Banjo's fine. It's Wiggles, Diego, and Toots that got the brunt of it. But it should be okay in a little while. Apologies, neither of us got much sleep, eh?
About as good a sleep I can expect until I'm dead.
Cal needs more coffee stat.
We're working on it.
So, what's on the docket for today? Suppose
I'm just gonna see what I can find out about that situation. Try to look up the android that was bidding. See what I can, keep my ear to the ground, see what was in that warehouse, run some numbers on the gun I picked up.
that all sounds very logical. You'll let me know if you need anything that I can do?
Yeah, of course, kid, but I think this might be bit more than I anticipated. Not more than I can chew, but a little much for someone your age.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the one in the basement alone. We can do this when we're both more awake.
I'll need at least 2 more cups of this. At least. I refill my mug.
We will check back in after more drone repair and coffee consumption has gone on. It won't be
At last, I'm not the coffee fiend.
It won't necessarily be exactly simultaneous, but let's hop on over to sort of waking times at the frontispiece. I guess if you're volunteering to be the first one up, say the word.
Sure. Teenagers don't understand what time is. I mean, I'm 23.
Yeah, so Burn, you I guess can decide if there's a particular reason you wake up when you do, but we'll call it, not stupid early, but, earlier than I like to wake up when I have the option.
I think the reality of it is anxiety, and that is not going to be discussed.
Certainly. So would you describe, because I don't think that it is well established yet, where are you when you sleep? Where what are your accommodations at the frontispiece like?
It's a room. Everything in the backspaces of the frontispiece are modular, but like mine is more stably set than many. But of course, in the event of an untimely or overly intrusive inspection, it's able to be modulated. And it's got a bunk, it's got, a commercial computer that is good for games or whatever, separate from my actual hacking piece, because that's in my hand. And relatively sparse, because again, like, at a certain point, you're too poor to have much stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you come awake on your bunk, glancing at the nearest indicator of time. It is too early to be awake, but too late to meaningfully get more rest either.
I get up, I do stretches and whatever. I tell the coffee maker to start making Kato's coffee. I start looking for news of anything that might have gone down related to the auction and the fallout from the auction.
All right. We'll loop back to that in just a moment. Kato, I would like to get a clever roll from you, please. 2d6 plus 2.
Okay. Literally could not go worse than last time.
You're correct. Yeah.
This time it's 2 5s for a total of 12.
Wow. Okay.
We like that much better.
Yeah. More of that, please. Thank you, Den Dice.
So you come awake somewhat slowly, kind of sprawled in the seating that you fell asleep in last night. It feels early, which probably means it's about the time you'd normally get up because you had such a late night last night. And you sort of look around. The device is still as it was when you left it, or rather, almost your eye catches something. The device itself hasn't moved. It seems to have been entirely inert. But the Faraday cage that you constructed around it, while intact, has a discolored portion in one strip, as though something had attempted to breach it, though the tool that might have been used is unclear. You are suddenly quite awake, in a way beyond the smell of brewing coffee, which may have been the thing that pulled you from your slumber initially.
Yeah, a real good news, bad news situation. Is the Faraday cage, such as it is, still functioning, or can I not tell that? Okay, it is.
Yeah, no, as long as it
Okay.
hasn't actually been, like, damaged, the structure of it, it still would be functioning. And honestly, if the line of discoloration had been like a cut, it would still be, like, pretty functional. You would have to have a real sophisticated device to interact with just a narrow gap in a Faraday cage.
Okay. We've established that my interface can basically do what a smartphone could do as far as messaging. Like, can I take a picture of this thing and send it to Burn?
Yeah.
Like the discolored area? Okay, so I do that. I say good morning, and send a picture of that and also an image of our friend's communique from the previous night. I do not contact Gorrister right away since the hardware seems fine. For now, as I am doing this, I am already seeking coffee.
By the time you think actively about coffee, you actually already have a mug in your hand and the coffee machine in your sights, which also means that you are in speaking range of Burn, having shared.
No, I haven't left my room. To be clear.
Okay.
I did that remotely. But
you brewed the coffee remotely, but you haven't come to get some? Is that what you're saying?
I have decided that this character, oddly for me, does not drink coffee.
I also was imagining, I think, a more sort of on top of itself subdivided space than we seem to be suggesting in the offing, which is fine. I mean, it's a workshop; it has some amount of space. I was just picturing that
I was picturing it all very on top of itself. Yeah. And we've not at all discussed the room that I didn't sleep in, but
right.
I maybe wander in there just to make sure nothing's amiss.
Yeah, fair. It could be very on top of itself. It depends then on soundproofing.
Right.
Yeah, Burn is also hidden, right? Like, so
right.
even though it's all on top of itself, there's what if you looked at a floor plan, you'd realize would have to be a room, like in a dungeon in the first Legend of Zelda, but which you might not see betray itself as a room if you didn't know to look.
Well, and to be clear, I don't have any investment in it being one way or another, and you two of you are free to work it out as you're doing here. Just sort of giving my reasoning for why I had said what I said.
Yo, totally. Sure.
Like there ought to be a room on the floor plans here is exactly the sort of obfuscated place that Burn would prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the back rooms, as it were, there is where Gorrister works, which is where I fell asleep. There is Burn's room, which is hidden. There is a place where coffee might be brewed. And there is a room where I would normally sleep, which has a writing desk, which is a pure affectation. No one writes at a desk, even though there's paper in the place, and boxes of books that I either want to keep or could not bring myself to sell. Like Isidore Smith's new translation of Capital Volume 1, to bring it more in line with modern economic theory and show how wrong the whole thing really was. Won't sell it. So I wander by my room on my way to coffee, mug in hand. Is aught amiss there, or is that looking about like I left it?
Now that you're looking, you could be pretty certain that there isn't any indication that somebody's rifled through things or moved things around. The only evidence you've seen so far of something happening while you were asleep is the discoloration on a small part of the Faraday cage.
Okay. I look at that and try to acquire coffee and then make my way to Burn without breaking stride.
All right. Now, Burn, you've gotten this image of the discoloration of the Faraday cage. You've gotten the screenshots of I guess it really only takes one, the abortive conversation with an anonymous self-proclaimed friend that Kato had last night. How do you make
Yep.
use of this information?
The moment that Kato is in line of sight, I just look at him and go, absolutely fucking not.
I didn't respond to the friend. I didn't even confirm friendship. I didn't say a thing. I went to sleep. Who is it, though, do you think?
Not sure, but now I have something to do today. Fuck.
That was my main concern, was that you would get bored. So, you're welcome.
That slightly hysterical laugh is indeed in character.
I should note for the listener, since this is an auditory medium, I have coffee in hand in a sort of office space-ish approach. Did you get that thing I sent you?
Byrne, in the interim, you were able to sort of scan over some of the information available about exactly what was going on outside of your direct line of perception last night. And the reports have it that gang activity resulted in a malfunction in the warehouse's sprinkler system, as well as a fire that ravaged an IMX storage space in which robotics parts that were to be used in various labs and classes at GPOL in the coming semester were being stored. According to the available information as of this morning, the response from IMX has been that specific type of like corporate disappointment. Says, we prize our working relationship with GPOL and the people of Selden District, but organized crime is really getting out of hand, and it is unfortunately becoming clear that PSS is not equal to the task of keeping our property and the university's property safe. Other solutions may be on the table.
Yeah. Well, and let the listener know that the Des and I would assume Byrne made the jerk off into the wind gesture. And I say, well, yes, that, but also this doesn't bode well. I don't fucking love how this bodes.
Of course not.
So, do we also want to discuss the intruder? The fact that someone or something attempted to punch a hole in our Faraday cage?
Yeah.
How did it get within spitting distance to try? That's what I don't know. I was sleeping like the dead, so that's on me. But how did it get inside? They?
Unclear. Let's have a look at the tapes. Is there recorded security for the frontispiece, or how is that handled?
Yeah, I think we had established that there is recorded security. It doesn't keep all the footage forever, but there is sort of a, call it like a week of footage at a time from a variety of cameras. Let's see. I think that this is actually going to be a pretty good time for Byrne to shine. Give me, let's say just a straightforward clever roll to start. So that's gonna be 2d6 plus 3.
It's a 10.
10. You isolate the footage of the exteriors, this shot, that shot, fairly good coverage on the frontispiece, as you'd expect from a criminal operation. And you get the interior shots are much more curated, especially in the back. But there, sort of a limited interior door shot that you can look at it to the space. And there isn't anything entering or leaving any of the visual fields that you have access to recordings of. You then start to try to examine the data itself So this is going to be a hacking roll, which is 2d6 plus 6.
So that is a 16.
All right. It takes a while, and so we'll sort of get to the end of your conversation about it, and then hop back over to our other domicile. But you do eventually spot whatever came in didn't use one of the designated entrances to the building. You're not sure where it came in. But it does seem to have been small, because it does pass through that interior door shot, just one corner of the image very briefly. And the only reason you can tell is because there is a telltale, basically, it's supposed to look like a compression artifact in that part of the image. But when you are sort of examining the data for anomalies, you realize that it's essentially using a type of shall we say, like, a network enabled active camouflage. It didn't actually project anything, but rather was sort of spoofing data.
Similar to what I do
exactly
when I am outside of the frontispiece.
It seems like it is specifically designed to work on monochrome images, like most security footage, because this would be very hard to do, to match background reasonably well on full color for any length of time, especially this seamlessly. But it does tell you about what time this thing occurred, namely around 4 a.m. And it tells you that whatever it was didn't come in through one of the entrances, and seemed to have been pretty small. Probably no bigger than a
drone,
moderately large cat, possibly smaller.
I relay this information.
To who? Just to Cato?
To Cato.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Cato, this has taken a span of time. Would you have been getting up to anything in particular?
I think probably, if we want to retcon very slightly, I think I would have confirmed with Byrne that it's okay to start sharing this via secure channels with the rest of the party, as it were. If you have no immediate OPSEC objections.
Yeah.
So
if we're deciding to trust them, we're deciding to trust them.
Agreed. So while he's doing this, I'm doing that. Saying that we received this mysterious communique from a friend in, I think I use 13 sets of quotation marks on either side. And I also send the image and say, any idea what could have done this?
I reply. I mean, it's a shot in left field, but I did see a ferret-sized drone that was passing through the area prior to our ingress. Seemed to be fleeing into the sewer system. Is that correct?
The infrastructure of the station, who knows if it was using sewers specifically, but it's a definite possibility.
Yeah, seemed to be. It fled into the infrastructure of the station.
Good hustle. Ferret is our number one suspect.
But also, why wasn't this mentioned earlier?
Didn't seem relevant earlier. Now it is.
As this conversation is unfolding, I look at Ing over my fourth cup of coffee now and ask if there's some sort of reason for all of the quotation marks. Is that some code that you kids are using these days?
Code.
Out of character, I'm confused.
When I said a friend, I put it in enormous numbers of quotation marks to convey a level of sarcasm one could see from space. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, got it.
Yep.
But Cal didn't get it.
Cal, true to adult form assumes it's some sort of not satanic method of communication, but we're a clickbait article away from that.
Right.
If it got presented to the rest of the department, surely the news articles would have started swarming about the dangers of quotation marks in your kids' texts
This
as
is-
a means.
This is semantic panic.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
Perfect.
Are you
Nick, I
kids
adore
backwards
you.
masking in there? Okay.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's not a popular thing that the kids are doing these days, and it's just, he's trying to indicate that it's very suspicious, but honestly, it could be. I haven't spent that much time around many people before I got here. So maybe.
Good to know. Regardless, it doesn't seem like a great situation. Do you think we should swing by?
Yeah, I think that'd be wise. Just finishing up here. Then my collective should be good to go.
And sure enough, within the next half hour or so, they'll look a little worse for wear, but it'll only be their looks. Your 3 drones are back on operational condition.
Can I take this time while Inga's working on the drones to see if there's any information about the gun that I acquired?
Sure, yeah. So we didn't go into detail about this gun last time. It is essentially generic handgun TM, very sort of basic semi-automatic kind of pistol. You sort of secure login into the PSS system, and you start to investigate the weapon. The thing that sort of always frustrates you about this and puts some friction in your path is that PSS does not have direct access to the Grand Cross security information. It has essentially the ability to pass requests. So by the time that Ing is done tinkering with his drones, you have essentially a promise of notification sent to your email when your request has been processed and the information is available. In your experience, this can take anywhere from like very quickly within the hour to a tooth grinding 4 or 5 days.
I don't think I would have looked for it in a way that would have left such a...
Then you don't really have a good way of researching this specific gun. You could, get some information about the sort of design, the model, the manufacturer. But in terms of tracing this particular weapon, it has to go through station security.
To the best of my estimations, would it be one that is not going to... Obviously, any gun is risky. But I am assessing specifically whether or not it would be as safe as a gun could be to pass off to Kato.
This probably calls for a roll then.
Should I do investigation?
Let us. Man, yeah. Investigation would be a great one, in fact. So that's +2, and let's do it with clever for a total +5. 2d6 +5.
I got a 3 and an 8, so that'll be 15. Wait, nope. I did that backwards. 2 plus 3, so 13.
In terms of traceability, this is probably going to be as safe as anything, and it is a very sort of standard kind of thing. It doesn't have like full auto settings. It doesn't have like armor piercing rounds or hollow points or anything in it. It's a fairly straight ahead sidearm, and there are not a lot of guns per capita on Grand Cross, but probably a plurality of them are this gun or similar. So it is
Okay.
fairly anonymous.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
So by about that time, you've kind of wrapped up what you're doing. Your drones are operational again and have added a little bit of character to their appearance in the process here.
All right. Diego and Toots and Wiggles get to ride on my shoulders. The rest of them tucked under clothing.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds then like Ing and Cal are headed to the frontispiece. What are they likely to find Byrne and Kato doing?
Well, they're not likely to find Matchstick.
Fair enough. Actually, this is a pretty good opportunity to ask a business owner question of Kato. Do you open on Saturday?
I think we do. We keep slightly shorter hours, but there are always a few panicked students who could use more to the point, who are willing to pay for the help.
Yeah, so probably then by the time that Cal and Ing are arriving, the bookstore has been open for a little while. And I'm going to do a little for fun roll.
For whose fun?
Mine.
That depends how it comes out. Yeah.
You have about half of one professor's robotics class in the frontispiece when they arrive, all absolutely panicked, looking for a book that they claim they had no way of knowing would be required until now. What is it? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days out from the beginning of classes.
I'll be willing to do a for fun roll, solving for a certain version of fun, but do I have as many copies as there are panicked students?
That is a very good question, and it will indeed be a for fun roll. I am going to have a lot of fun and tell you to roll your criminal underworld specialty. So 2d6 plus 2.
Okay. That is 9 total.
9 total. You have, let's say, 2 fewer copies than they need on shelves, but you happen to know that there is a cart in the back that has a couple additional copies because this professor has been assigning this textbook for at least 4 semesters now. And you are very confident that you can play this up to your advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I make it very clear that they really blindside you these days. It's deeply, deeply unfair. However, you've come to the right place, and I believe that I can solve your problem. However, I take a head count visibly.
Mm-hmm.
I look worried. I furrow my brow. I take another head count. I say, I can probably just about accommodate you, but you'd be buying me out. You'd probably be buying out all the Grand Cross, if I'm honest. So it's going to cost.
The students all sort of look at each other one at a time, glances sort of connecting and then moving on across this group. And right about the time that Ing and Cal enter, they are having an urgently whispered conversation about their collective liquidity and who owes who for drinks and such. And at the end of it all, they have determined that they will, in fact, basically, they don't say name your price, but they give you the impression that you can name your price to get them all one of these books. This is a professor that is at least got the reputation mostly among freshmen, for being very uncompromising, and they are very afraid.
I take this into account. I observe their conversation. I tally in my head the entire saga of their collective drinking and paying for each other's drinks, and I quote them a price that I believe they can pay, but that hurts a bit.
There is a sullen, somber silence, and then sort of debit cards start to get passed over, and you successfully keep the smirk off your face as you boop, 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 NFC scan their cards, and then give them a sort of one moment and rustle around in the back. You make a production out of it, rustling around quite a bit, even though you know exactly where the books are, and then come out sort of dusting the top one off.
I am triumphant. I am exultant. I am a hero.
They do, in fact, thank you for helping them, though they seem a little shell-shocked by the experience, and then each clutching their book and muttering sort of forlornly to one another, they file out, leaving you in the shop with Cal and Ing.
Well, the lights stay on.
After the last one files out, there is a 15-second pause, and then full blast. The speakers play Holding Out for a Hero for like 4 measures, and then it cuts off.
Well, I'm fresh from the fight. How are you?
And caffeinated suitably.
That's a damn good start.
Anyway, you have any ideas who this friend might be, or?
I don't have a clue.
Have I made any progress on that, Adam?
Frustratingly little. They aren't.
Is there even an opportunity to roll?
Well, it's straightforward enough that I'm not going to require a roll. Basically, it's a very simple solution of having made a burner account and used like a chain coffee shop's Wi-Fi. So after some work, you can figure out that the chain coffee shop in question was a particular location a couple districts over, but unfortunately that's pretty much all there is to find. You found everything there is to find, and that's about it.
There's no way to get video records then from said chain coffee shop?
I'm not going to say no way, but it would require quite an outlay of effort and no small amount of risk, since you'd be, in that case, like hacking central corporate data storage, which may be within your capabilities. Up to you.
But their chain probably does make it worse, or at least riskier, huh?
Right, yeah, they have.
It depends on what data security laws are these days.
Well,
in the distant future of 2020.
On Grand Cross, after 3 years of Unity rule, they are very, very favorable to corporations.
So, in other words, you don't have to spend shit on data security.
It would perhaps be a little bit more apt to say that the citizens of Grand Cross subsidize corporate data security involuntarily.
Ah.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with your series of sounds.
Yes. That was a very articulate response and accurate at that.
A meditation for late capitalists.
The distant future of 2020 is dystopian indeed.
Indeed. Can you
Byrne may
imagine?
be channeling some of my thoughts and feelings on data security. I'm sure this doesn't shock anyone involved in this, player or listener.
I mean, I
Color
was
me
going
not
to say,
especially shocked.
what is role playing for? If not.
Indeed. Well, so I mean, I say, yeah, I don't have a clue, and we seem to be coming up dry on top of it. Whoever it is covered their tracks reasonably well and didn't reveal much. The only thing I could really do is reply again, but we'd run the risk of giving away more than we mean to, of course.
They were frustratingly proper about it.
I start to walk to the back room like I own the place.
I look very slightly affronted at this, but I had a good morning, so it's
Whatever
okay.
door you approach is locked.
I roll my eyes and look around. It takes me a moment, however long it takes me to find a camera, and then I look at it pointedly and gesture towards the door.
It unlocks and locks again immediately.
If you would not mind, there are things that I need to discuss, but not out here.
Your phone pings.
I ignore it.
The battle of wills begins.
Kiddo, also your phone pings.
I mean, I don't ignore it. I am, chuckling and smirking. What does my phone say?
The good officer needs to remember the magic word.
I guffaw, but I do not convey the information.
Intelligent.
What happens when an irresistible cop meets an immovable gremlin?
I'm browsing books.
I'll tell you what happens. The chime for the front door of the shop dings. And in walks somebody who doesn't give off student vibes. This is a fellow decidedly out of his 20s with dark brown hair and a pretty bad haircut. He's one of those unfortunate fellows who has haystack straight hair and doesn't really know how to cut it. I speak from experience. And also is not really dressed in student fashion, wearing this universe's equivalent of khaki dockers and an ill-fitting short-sleeve button-up shirt, as well as this setting's equivalent of like a Casio calculator watch. And just starts to...
Are you describing an evil accountant to us?
This customer comes in, does not say anything to anyone, does not make eye contact with anyone, and just starts browsing the shelf closest to the door, starting at the top left and going about one book spine every third of a second across that shelf.
Man, should have given myself like a cop instinct.
I mean, I guess there's nothing stopping you from rolling cool.
Okay. I rolled poorly. We've gone up from snake eyes to 2 2s, plus 2 is 6.
Indeed.
We're slowly ascending from the snake pit.
We are.
I mean, you turn to look at this guy, but I mean, he's younger than you and he looks like a nerd, so probably a student.
Mm-hmm.
I say the standard line, which is, let me know if you need help with anything.
The customer looks at you, looks at the other people in the front of house, and gives a nod and continues to scan one title at a time, about 3 a second, reaching the end of the first shelf and going down to the next one.
Is this a thing I've seen anyone do before?
No. Nobody comes into the frontispiece to browse. You are a textbook store. They have a list. When you have seen somebody browse, it is because they are waiting on something they have asked for, including Ing, who asked for a job.
And got it, let the record
Yeah.
show.
Mm-hmm.
After a discrete interval, probably an indiscreet interval, I say, is there something in particular you're looking for?
The fellow goes, just browsing. Thank you. Maintains eye contact with you for another 2 full seconds after saying that, and then goes back to scanning the spines of books on the shelves.
I tell a tale of incredulity in the time that we make eye contact. I'm assuming I get no reaction whatsoever.
Scanning books.
I'm taking stills of this dude's face from several angles.
Mhm.
I ask via message, do we know who this is?
Hey, Adam, do we know who this is?
No need to roll. You do not.
Nope.
You get a grumpy face of personalized emoji sort in response.
I respond with what I think is also a grumpy face, but probably comes across as the boss from Dilbert Hair, two spiky eyebrows, That's for our listeners, presumably. I assume Scott Adams has been forgotten and his name scrubbed off the monuments at this point in history. But, or maybe he's king back on Earth. I don't fucking know.
I'm gonna go ahead and rule that such a person does not exist in this universe, but rather has been sort of splintered over enough people who do exist in this universe, so as none of them are particularly prominent in the grand scheme of things.
But all of those personality traits are out there.
All of those social media presences are out there too. If you Voltroned their Twitters together or whatever the equivalent is, there is one. I just forget what its name is in setting. I think it may actually be Tweeter with no terminal E. Anyway, those accounts exist, and if you were to just merge them chronologically, you would have Scott Adams's social media feed, but they are
got it.
fragmented.
I would credit the person who said this if I could remember who it was, but I'll adapt it for this world. Scott Adams is if intrusive thoughts had a tweeter. Anyway,
Buc-ee's, the gas station.
Yes. So I grump back at Burn, and I guess I don't see much to do other than wait for the moment. We can't really discuss things of substance until this person does something or other, but I don't think we have any clues as to what it is they're here to do.
I reply to the text thread asking if you'd like me to go and strike up a conversation with him.
Couldn't hurt.
Oh, was this a text thread between all of us?
Yes, all.
Yeah, let's say I asked the question in the group chat because anybody might know who he is. We have a problem, a cop, and a friendly sort. So
I make a point of checking the group chat, but swiping whatever Burn sent me away and making sure my phone is angled towards the camera as I do so.
The text reappears, and also in the group chat, you know the magic word.
I extend a magic finger towards the camera.
I wander
this.
over to the man.
One of us has a sense of the mission.
I observe this toddler-esque battle of wills, and also whatever conversation is about to unfold.
The customer
I resemble that.
manages to indicate to you, Ing, that he is aware of your approach without actually looking or gesturing in your direction, but instead continuing to scan shelves, seemingly devoting quite a lot of attention to this, but also clearly not looking for anything in particular.
Yeah, I go over and pretend to be interested in a random book on the shelf.
Kato, what book at random does Ing pay attention to? You're better at making these up than I am.
This is you've put me on. You super duper put me on the spot here. This is a book about protocols by Professor I.P. Address.
I love this entirely bad pun based academic system we've put together. This is perhaps one of my favorite things about this campaign so far.
Yes.
So yeah, you're looking at essentially a technical manual.
All right, I flip through it, and then I look over as though surprised that there's somebody else there, and say, "Right, crazy weather we're having, eh?" And then I chuckle a little bit to myself.
Actually brings this customer up short. He sort of stops with his finger on one spine of the book and blinks rapidly a couple times, and then goes, "No, it's planned. You can look at the. Oh, you're joking with me. This is the first time that he looks at you, and he is sort of like you aren't sure if he's like kind of squinting at you or if that's just kind of his neutral expression. But he then says, "You can call me Canopus. What can I call you?"
Canopus. Yeah, my name's Ing.
Well, pleasure to make your acquaintance, Ing, but well, I mean, you are rather squarely in the way of my surveillance of these titles.
Oh, I'm sorry. I step back by about foot and a half.
He gives you a courteous nod and continues to scan book titles.
I gesture to my hand. Have you read this one? It's a real spine tingler, that.
He glances at your book and says, "It is a networking textbook."
So it is. I put it back on the shelf. Not your genre, then.
He says, "All books are potentially my genre. Almost any book has some useful tidbit of information that will point you toward the truth."
True. Too true. Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the author. You know, even the lowly protocol manual can be really riveting if it's written well.
And if you need the information contained within.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your favorite authors?
Oh, you wouldn't have heard of them.
Really?
God, he's a hipster.
Really, I haven't read many books lately. Mostly I've read. Trails off, stops scanning spines for a moment, and then looks at you and says, "Actually, it's probably best not to say. You never know who's listening."
Well,
Continues
very
scanning.
mysterious.
Continue scanning titles for the listeners at home. Des just waved at the camera.
Yes.
And in
as
setting,
this
probably.
Yeah, as this conversation is occurring, my attention has drifted from the Battle of Wills and more towards trying not to look interested in the conversation and keep an eye on Ing, but also failing miserably and trying not to look interested in the conversation and keeping an eye on Ing.
I have at some point during this approached.
Okay.
And I've said, so you do have an area of interest. Fun fact, not all books contain truth. actually statistically remarkable. But there is a book by Chet G. Petty, professor of Komsky at Phoenix University, that remarkably, even by statistical anomaly, you would think there'd be something true in there, but 100% falsities, pure hallucination.
Canopus here turns and regards you very seriously and says, whether it was intended or not, all books contain some truth, even if it's only about the author. The intensity of his gaze on you, Cato, is remarkable.
Is that your interest, then? More the authors than the texts?
Perhaps my interest is ultimately in truth. Authors' texts, they're just a way of figuring out what is and isn't true. And he stops and looks around as though taking stock of where everybody is in the room. Says, even in dreams, truth may be found. Again, looking at you as seriously as anyone has ever looked at you. What an eloquent sigh.
The lovely frustration of the canyon between player knowledge and in-character knowledge, what's contained within that sigh.
Amazingly expressive.
It wasn't that. Well, as dreams teach us, sure, there's truth everywhere, but it's usually not on the surface of things. So why scan the spines? Why not go a bit deeper? I'm happy to help.
Well, you see, taking an inventory of your stock may give me a truth about you and a truth about stops. Looks at Ing, looks at Cal, looks at the various cameras around the room. As well as truth about the other customers here.
I think looking at my stock, you'll learn more about the syllabi at G-Pol. You're looking for correlation, or rather looking for causation when correlation is all you'll find. I actually have a book here on statistics. I reached for something by Marvin Caltrop about the problem of confounders in statistical analysis.
Go ahead.
This is a very suspicious conversation, so would it be within reason if I'm at least grokking that whomever sent the text may wish to follow up in person the next day?
Absolutely. You've been doing the cop thing for a while, and you are smart enough to be like, well, this isn't necessarily that guy, but also it could be that guy. Yeah.
I cross my arms behind my back, but I hold up the number 13. Or what was the number of quotation marks?
It was 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hold up the number 1 and 3 on my fingers behind my back at the camera.
Yeah, so Byrne, you're the only person aware of that particular gesture.
I respond in the group chat with, could be.
I say, excuse me just a moment, and look at the message, and then I say, well, anyway, I didn't mean any insult, but if you're interested, just a good primer on statistical errors, common ones, where falsity can hide in truth and vice versa. Friend?
He maintains unblinking eye contact with you this whole interval and says, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in correlation. Everything is related, no matter how distantly. It's only a matter of perceiving the chain of causality appropriately.
Well, but that's the whole thing with confounders. There's no study you can design to tell you whether something outside of the study is influencing the study. That's the thing that keeps statisticians up at night. A friend?
Good thing I'm not a statistician then. Has not blinked yet.
I have managed not to blink either.
I'm pinching my nose at all of this.
Adam,
Yes.
just out of curiosity,
Uh-huh.
this person does have like a pulse and everything, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
It's a reasonable question, actually.
No, yeah.
It is.
You are totally within your rights to ask. Yes. A seemingly baseline human.
So, to be clear, when I've addressed this person as friend, have I noticed any reaction whatsoever?
Boy, does he not give very noticeable or conventional reactions to anything.
Had a feeling that was the answer. Conventional, but yeah. Can I roll to see if I notice a tell? Sometimes even people who are non-conventional in their expression have tells.
I mean, you can. I think probably the main thing I am drawing your attention to here is the intensity with which this person is gazing at you at all times.
Indeed. No, that's been conveyed. And I am...
to be clear, you and not anybody else.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I'm just, as long as there is absolutely no social cost to giving this person extreme scrutiny as well, I'm doing so.
Yeah, not at all intended to discourage you.
Prolonged eye contact.
So
The campaign.
yeah, if you wish to like roll a cool to
Sure.
try and perceive as much as possible, it's just gonna be 2d6 straight up.
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. I mean, you've caught the intense and prolonged eye contact, and honestly, there isn't a ton more to perceive as far as you can tell.
No coincidences, huh? So then, what brings you in today?
A feeling. A strong feeling that you and I may have something to discuss. There is...
I mutter something about these kids and their feelings.
Well, Canopus completely ignores you, but I can't speak for anybody else in the room.
The side of my mouth quirks. I'm doubting Canopus notices.
Canopus says, I suspect that we have shared a dream.
Just to clarify, with the GM, I don't remember my dreams from last night, right?
Not a one.
Okay. Well, then I bluff. Okay. Recently? What dream?
There is a shift to his mouth, like he is gritting his teeth but keeping his lips closed. And then he takes a deep breath in through his nose. And again, still has not blinked. Says, a dream of an endless number and many sides. And then he inclines his head slightly so that he's looking at you sort of out from under his eyebrows and finishes with, and a dream of a risky possession.
I do my best. I get it now, face. And I hold up a 1 moment finger and disappear into the back, and I reverently hand him a math textbook about higher dimensional objects. This is viciously out of print.
He looks at it, looks at you, having seemingly finally blinked while you were gone. And
I catch that as a still.
very well. And Holden,
I would like to text it to his phone.
he does not seem to notice immediately. Uh,
I also put it in the group chat.
fair enough.
The petty is strong with this one.
Having looked down at the book, he looks back up at you and very seriously says, "Yes, of course. Thank you. I'll be back next time I need a textbook. How much?"
I quote a price that is reasonable for an out-of-print book, but also I'm cutting you a deal sort of thing. And I'm being abstract because money is abstract. in
Right,
this
right,
setting.
yeah. He,
This is, an amount that to someone, and who knows if this person is tuned into these subtleties, but that would seem a favor, but also seem like you were getting something worthwhile.
mhm.
I thought that one costed $31 and 41 cents.
Is that being said aloud?
Yes.
The whatever
Your Ogvert starts playing, or rather, the inverse of the noise canceling that I rigged up
Mhm.
starts playing.
When you speak, Cal, Canopus glances in your direction, looks back at Cato and says, "Of course." And then the Ogvert kicks on. And everybody sort of glances. And then Canopus sort of licks his lips and says, "Yes, here," hands you a card and says, "I think I shall return this week. And perhaps I could get your help finding some more obscure information, perhaps?"
I revel in obscurity.
As do I. As do I. Taking
In the group chat, so do we all.
taking the now scanned card back, he lifts the book to you in seemingly a salute and, clutching it to his chest, walks purposefully out of the store. The door closes
Before he
behind him.
turns completely so that he can see it, I bow reverently toward the book more than toward him.
He
The
seems to take
Ogvert
this in
keeps
stride.
playing.
Yeah, it's like the speak and spell version of the Ogvert as it normally is. And the door closes.
When he's well and gone, I say, well, to coin a phrase, the fuck?
Yeah, I realize there's deeper issues that we need to discuss here, but first, that guy doesn't take very good care of his eyes. My understanding is that they've got to be not wet, but like moist all the time, and the atmosphere. It's dry air. It's just irresponsible.
I love how we have so many weird things that we're all focused on.
I, despite myself, snort at that.
I am suddenly very aware of my eyes, which are not entirely organic, but also not entirely not at this point in my life.
We are all manually blinking right now and suddenly very aware of our tongues and our breathing.
Think of how my teeth taste for perhaps the first time in quite some time.
Is it the same as bones but seasoned?
My experience
Well
with
said.
barbecue suggests no.
I don't usually brush my ribs, so I don't know. It's not a fair comparison.
You don't? My dentist gets upset if I don't.
Welcome to Night Fair.
Canopus has exited. The door has closed. Ing has made the comment about the lack of blinking, and Cato has felt their eyes very acutely for a moment.
And the Ogvert crescendos.
Mm-hmm.
I still ignore the Ogvert. Over it, I pointedly say, we need to talk now.
Yeah, in your professional opinion, was that an investigation or just a weirdo?
Probably both, and that is why I'm concerned.
Okay, what do we do about that?
I'd rather not have any customers come in while we're discussing next actions.
Sure, yeah, this morning was a bonanza. We can afford to close early. I do so.
The
turn around.
door's
Yeah.
locked.
Okay. Is there any visibility from the exterior of the store in?
There is a window in the customer door, but it is frosted.
Okay.
I send a quick twet. Is that what they are?
Who
Saying
knows?
that we've closed early,
Yeah.
and implying that the early bird catches the book, or something equally stupid, and we begin.
At this point, I pass Kato the gun that I got from the Terabyte Boy. It's about as clean as any, but it seems that your bookstore has been compromised.
Yeah, I'm also a bit worried. I don't know that he knows that I was involved, but I gave him my name. That's like my real name, not my, crime name.
That is
All
what we call
caps.
them. Yeah.
In the group chat. Why would you do that?
I thought he was just a guy. It would be suspicious to give my crime name to just a guy. Want to keep them separate. And now they're not.
Don't
I'm freaking
give
out a little
any
bit.
name.
He'll be fine. Deep breaths.
We don't know whether that was his crime name, I guess, or whether he has a crime name, or whether he does crimes, or whether, again, he's just weird.
Speaking of names, when he gave you his card, is there a last name? Maybe we could start by tracking this fella down?
That is something I would remember, was there?
There was. The last name was Dryden.
And it was Canopus Dryden.
No, it was Caleb.
Caleb. Crime name. Real name, Caleb Dryden.
All right. Well,
Better than John.
tit for tat, I suppose. At least we know his name.
Can I search for that in Bacon?
Yep. Does not turn anything up.
How about whatever I have access to of the PSS network on my phone without sending out any requests?
Yeah. Also, nothing. Does not appear to be a crime person, at least who's been caught or cataloged.
I reiterate that with the emphasis on that last part.
Last part's important. I don't know if we've established, Des, how illegitimate our use of payment methods is. Like, can we get information from the fact that we ran his card? Or are we being not especially criminal in that way? And is it, tokenized the way the real thing would be? By the way, the gun. You got that from a Terabyte Boy.
Yeah, but I ran it and it's still very illegal, but about as clean as you can get.
Okay. So that means they're less stupid than we thought, unlikely, lucky, more likely, or just so small time that they haven't
supply.
even done crimes with it. Or, yes, that.
That one, plus they had a ex-PSS among their ranks.
That seems bad.
No, don't overthink it.
Yeah, okay. That's normal then. My head's reeling a little bit here. It seems like we have a lot of different people who seem to know more about what's going on here than we would wish, and maybe more than we do.
Certainly more than we do.
And I don't like it.
And at that, I will actually come out from behind the back to actually join the conversation physically.
Okay.
The
So
door
multiple
auto-
streams at once, but as you come out, I say, so to be clear, we're unfortunately, the word turns to vinegar in my mouth. We're legitimate as far as payment. We can't
Tragically.
track him or anything. Shit. So to summarize, we have a ferret drone that found its way in here and attacked our Faraday cage, or at least nibbled at its angles. We have someone who knows enough to call themselves a friend and taunt and or attempt to entrap us. We have leaky Civ OPSEC, which I'm sure is my fault and no one else's. We have a gun from a Terabyte boy, and we have an extremely strange weirdo sniffing around for what? For that, we'd have to assume, I say, gesturing at Gorister's room.
And what was he on about with regards to dreams? Is that a metaphor, or just is that a throwaway line?
How generally known are dreamers, Adam?
Not.
Okay.
Thus the expressive sign.
Indeed.
Well, he's saying that our guest came to him in a dream? Is that it?
As
Is that a
likely
thing?
nonsense as any.
I say to the general group, is that a thing?
I mean, I've seen people claim stranger things while on drugs. Under the influence. You'd be horrified by the number of things that are passed back and forth in these streets as drugs.
I put my small hand to my mouth as though to say, perish the thought.
All right.
What are we talking, like nutmeg?
Clearly one that knows something. How much information remains to be seen, but they know that we are at least connected if they're not aware of what is contained. You wouldn't happen to have another place to store that thing, would you?
Long term? I'm not sure. Shuffling it from place to place, we could start with Bronwy and go from there. But every time we move it, we take the risk that someone sees us moving it.
Moving it creates a much easier target for taking it from us with harm to us. Which, there's apparently an us now, so there's that too. But
So
to
what
some
we
degree,
have
that was a show of force, yeah.
So what we have instead is a baited trap.
I suppose. I would have thought that we were pretty off everybody's radar. I mean, after all, we pay our dues. But it would seem not so much.
So we can rule out some of the PSS.
Some. Not all. Well, if we can't move it, then it behooves us to figure out sooner than later what it is. So how do we do that? Without turning it back on, ideally.
We meet your friend.
I look to Burn.
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah, it's another setup, but it's the only lead we've got right now.
What about the people that paid you or suggested that you get it? Surely they know what it is.
I don't know if that's sure, but it's something.
I can try to run. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I can try to run some files on what I observed of the other bidders. It'll probably be a cold trail.
Around about this time, Cal, you get the far future of 2020 on Grand Cross version of a page. You don't actually carry a beeper, but you get essentially a notification on your phone from Lou Tupper. but it does not have a message. It's just the equivalent of, I require your attention. He likes these.
Shit. The boss is calling me.
Well then, maybe you should take it.
And to be clear, you are not scheduled to be on duty today.
Nope, that's my off day.
I ask Byrne if real quick he can make it look like the call is coming from not here.
Is this a call or is this your presence?
page.
It is a
It's a
page.
page,
It is
okay.
essentially, come to the station. I'm mad as
Gotcha,
hell
gotcha.
about something.
It's not call me back, it's come in person so I can
Mhm.
cheer you out. Got
Yep,
it.
yep.
Got it.
Ing, stay here. Kato, the basics of that. Raise it at what you don't like. Don't raise it in the direction of what you do like. Pull the trigger like you're clicking a pen. Try not to miss. I pat Kato on the back and head towards the door.
Perhaps to your concern, I look at you as though that is all genuinely helpful advice. I thought we were discussing it. I didn't think I was... Okay, thanks. I'll try not to miss.
So, Cal, you head toward what could somewhat misleadingly be called HQ. It is home base, but it's an office. Lou Tupper, however, thinks of it much more as a fortress. It's not too far away from the frontispiece. Nothing is too far away if you're within Selden District. And as you approach, your Augvert goes off again. This is actually somewhat common as you are approaching HQ. Those of you who are staying in the frontispiece, anything in particular that you are wishing to do at this time?
Running over security logs for the network and for video.
I'd like to try to determine the means of ingress into the frontispiece by this presumed droid.
All right, let's get a roll from you, Ing. Let's say, as this is specifically looking for presumed droid ingress, you can use your robotics specialty here, along with your clever, since you're doing an investigation. So that is going to be 2d6 plus 5.
All right. So that's 8 plus 5, which is 13, I believe.
All right. It takes a minute, but you identify a few places, basically infrastructural openings, where something the size of the drone that you encountered the other day might have come in. These are things like plumbing, wiring, one instance of a relatively small, the word that comes to mind is delamination, but that's not entirely the case. Basically, where panels of the building have sort of separated as it settled. Not very big, but the thing seemed pretty able to use small spaces. So if that does lead into the substructure of the station, something like the drone that you saw the other day could come in this way. It is ultimately about, let's say 3 places where you think this thing might have been able to come in if it had access to sort of the other end of the infrastructure in question. I'm sure there is a word for it, but essentially a cavity that was left for wiring to enter the building seems like the most likely suspect, given where in the building it was caught on the camera, or rather its distortion was caught on the camera by Byrne.
Okay. If I've got time eventually when Gorister rolls in, because probably coming in late today, if he comes in at all, I see about patching some of those holes, just to make it a bit harder to come in next time.
And Kato, anything in particular?
Once I know that, I'll tell Gorister he's coming in today. before that, I discreetly ask Byrne, is it time to see who else knows something? People who we trust?
Who do we trust on this?
Well, Bronwyn could have sold us out, and as far as we know, didn't. Although, I guess we don't know that for sure.
Sure fucking don't.
I'm feeling a little nihilistic about trust now that the officer is in the picture.
Good of you to join me there.
You know, the worst part is I think I do trust her.
That is bad, yeah.
Let's say by the time this happens, I'm ready to talk to Aang about patching things in. I send Gorrister a message, which I assume...
And this
Yeah.
all happens, presumably, that exchange happens very directly in front of Aang.
So
Yeah, I think Aang probably understands the dynamic, but I say no, that's good working. We're glad to have you aboard. Let's see about getting that stuff patched. And I'm already sending Gorrister a message saying, guess what? More overtime.
it takes a few minutes, but Gorrister does reply with, "Oh, period. Great, period." And then shows up around about 45 minutes later. Now, Cal.
Good help is so hard to find.
Cal, you make your way into HQ, and it turns out that Tupper sent literally every employee of PSS this page. Everyone has been called in on a Saturday morning for this.
Christ, what an asshole.
Now, Tupper is probably what you would imagine a owner / he usually calls himself commissioner, but you don't think it's his actual official title in the org chart of a private security firm like this would be, especially somebody with that name. And he is sort of pacing floridly back and forth in the front of the meeting room as people file in. And he is visibly grumpy about how long it has taken people to come in response to his page on their day off. You see Vector Ramirez sort of sitting up very straight and looking at nothing, kind of on the other side of the room. As cooperative as Officer Ramirez is, he's never been very good at dissembling. So this is probably a best case scenario.
I don't look at him either.
You are not in the last 5 people to file in, so you avoid most notice. But once enough people are there, Tupper slams his open hand down on a podium and says, "In case you haven't heard, a warehouse burned down last night on our watch. There's evidence that it was done with illegal weaponry by crooks. The semester hasn't even started yet. You assholes are already slacking off. Christ, what do I pay you for? Look, if we don't solve this, IMX is going to take over our contract using their broody little robots. So, if you want to keep your job, you find out who did this, how, and why, and you let me know right away so that I can rub that smug fucking IMX rep's nose in everything we accomplish. Am I understood?"
Yes, sir.
Your voice joins a chorus of similarly enthusiastic voices. He says, "Now look, we can't undo the burning of the warehouse, but I expect everybody to put in the time it takes and to communicate up the chain of command to make sure that we get to the bottom of this and that nothing like it happens again. This," he gestures expansively, "will blow over if we do our fucking jobs. So, everybody get out there and do your fucking job. Dismissed. And he puts his hand to his forehead in a way that you think he probably saw on a procedural at some point while people file out of the room.
Once again, with even more feeling. Christ, what an asshole.
I file out like the
Mhm.
rest, but I keep my ears open to what the other officers might be saying, namely the captains too.
Mhm. There's a lot of chatter, but a lot of it is very specifically for Tupper's benefit at this point, which means that it's mostly bullshit.
Mhm. Do you see an opportunity to corner Ramirez?
Ramirez seems to have essentially bolted and is clear of the entryway by the time you exit the meeting room. This is somewhat unlike Ramirez and has you a little worried.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you are not scheduled to work today and you are not on the clock. Of course, what Tupper was basically telling you without telling it to you in so many words is that he expects you to put in off the clock hours. He expects everybody to put in off the clock hours to figure this out. Whether you decide that that's something you're willing to do or not is, of course, up to you. You get the feeling that a lot of your coworkers are at best going to go through the motions.
Yeah. Which should give us a little bit of time. I make like I'm heading back to my apartment, and once I'm confident that I am not being followed, not that I have any reason to suspect that I am, I head back to the frontispiece.
Okay. You arrive back at the frontispiece round about the time that Gorister is putting some finishing touches on some caulking and patching.
Can I say that on my way I do text Ramirez just a single question mark again?
It takes a couple minutes, but around the time that you're coming into view of the frontispiece, Ramirez texts you back with a sort of like slanty frown emoji. I always say the wrong one.
I respond back with, when can we meet? Seems serious.
Fairly immediately, Ramirez replies with, I'm free tomorrow if you're buying dinner.
I send a thumbs up.
He sends a thumbs up. And you re-enter the frontispiece in time to see Gorister putting away some tools and making for the door. And so it is that you are all once again in the frontispiece with some things having been resolved and other things still needing resolution. Anything in particular that we are getting up to now that we are all back in one place?
I think I
I'm
let
going
Kel
to
know what repairs we made, and I say we should be pest-proof at the very least.
Good. That's one worry crossed off. But I'm afraid the hornet's nest has been kicked.
Do they know about,
No, it's corporate pressure at this point. IMX's warehouse was burnt down in the process of our guest throwing their tantrum. And they're applying pressure to the PSS.
We have an unknown and unknowable guest in the back, and they're worried about the fucking warehouse. Classic. Sorry.
Incredibly so.
I know it's not funny. I know we're in tremendous danger, but it is a little funny.
A little bit.
Perfect.
If I had any spare time while Gorister was working, I did message Bronwy and said, thanks again. Do you, at the risk of owing you another one, does anyone have it out for us around here? It seems like we're not as secure as we thought we were.
You send that message. You don't get any sort of immediate reply. You actually think for a moment that 5 minutes later you have gotten a response, but this is actually from a concealed source. However, the text of the message that you receive says, "Hey, Cato Frontispiece. It's K&B. Don't know if you've heard of me. I think Matchstick blocked me? Did I make him mad? And I feel like that's as good a place as any given the time frame to end our session because it gives us a conversation to start next time on."
I like it. I like the structure of closing on Cato getting a message they don't want to respond to.
I
Yes.
very much hope it doesn't become like a really regular thing, but ending it on twice in a row is honestly fine given the context, I feel. So
There's a symmetry to it, for sure.
I think one thing that I am going to do is I think we are pretty decisively at the transition out of doing like direct follow-up to our mission and into sort of our build up toward the next. So everybody can get 1 XP for having completed your initial task. Now, before the next mission is when we will roll for our first instance of economic shock. So it is looming on the horizon just so that we are prepared for it.
Hooray.
But currently, that concludes this session of Dice Punks. So thanks for joining us. I hope all our players and listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you'll join us again next time. If you're hearing us now, you probably know where to listen to this, but we can be found almost any place one can listen to podcasts, as well as on the wider web at dicepunks.com and at time of recording on co-host and Tumblr as at Dicepunks. With that, I think we're ready to say farewell, so say goodbye to the kind folks back on Earth, players.
Thanks for listening, and to talk bullshit, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that talking bullshit in a bookstore, what dreams may come.
Thanks for listening, everyone. To report into work on your off day or not to report into work on your off day? That is the question after after a concerning page from your boss. And the answer should be fuck no.
Thanks for listening, folks, and to continue with the trend. In the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, don't trust cops.
Hey, I appreciate your ears.
That you're now conscious of.
That you're now conscious of. If you liked this episode, I've got some great news for you. We're planning on making more of them. If you really liked this episode, you can listen to it again.
Both
And
of
again.
those things are true.
Just the facts. Just the facts.
Incredible, Nick.
And as the poet once said, "Still I'm always careful what I hear. I don't want to know who really pulls the strings, just as long as it's not you or me." Beloved listeners, thank you for tuning in. Stick around through the admin stuff for some lies from Luke. The main theme for this campaign, Augment or Die, is by Emerson Boatwright and our very own mechanical person, Drew. You can find links to more of their music in the show notes. Editing and our rad new cover art was done by Joanne, who has appeared on the podcast now and again. Check out her work around the internet where she goes by Anything Sews. Site design and graphics for dicepunks.com are by the one and only Officer Armitage, Robin. Hardwired Island is by Paul Michevic, Freya Erlingsdottir, and Minerva McJonda. You can find Hardwired Island at etten.itch.io/hardwiredisland, with hyphens in between those words. Links to the system and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, that's reward enough on its own. But if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends who you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks after show for episodes 1.1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then, remember, subtlety is for cowards.
So, it was New Year's a couple of days ago, and most of the district was drunk, and sure, fine, whatever. Start of term for me is a better time to, well, measure time with. It's about as real a period to measure time and space as any. The weather is scheduled, we don't straightforwardly orbit the sun, and we haven't been here long enough to form a generalized culture with its own holidays. Thus, as an orphan on the station, without much structure until my very expensive time in college, start of term was really when the year began. And so I'll celebrate in a few days, when term's actually begun. So, in advance, happy new term. May it bring you many, many illicit textbooks.